Hello, everybody. This is the podcast. We talk to everyday people with your not so everyday questions. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Today I'm joined by Tony, who's been in over 100 films and shows. He's a storyteller and character builder and a mentor in the craft of acting. From the set to the stage and now in the classroom, Tony brings decades of experience in raw truth about what it really takes to thrive in the entertainment industry. I'm excited to have you on the show, Tony.
Man, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. And for the listeners who may not be familiar with your line of work yet, can you give us a quick rundown of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so basically, my name's Tony Demil. I'm an actor. I've been acting for about 25 years. I have 100 plus credits. I have credits from before IMDb started. I've been acting for a long time. But my network really didn't start till like 2013. I mean, there were like network Discovery ID type shows, but basically my legit SAG TV shows started in like 2012.
Yeah, Tony, I would love to ask you. I mean, how did your journey into acting begin? I mean, what sparked that at the start?
So I was in the army, right? And I went to get out of the army. The last 6 months is like out processing, and you're just sitting there like, um, what am I gonna do when I get out? So I was just like, cool, I want to do this, I want to do that, I'm gonna grow my hair long, and all the things you can't do. And I was like, oh, I want to try stand-up comedy because I always thought it would be fun. I mean, you're sitting there with nothing to do while the new lieutenant comes in, and you're just sitting there on your hands a lot. So man, I got out. I went to moved to Orlando. I started working at like a Lebanese cafe, and one Tuesday night I was like, "Eff it, I'm gonna go do some stand up, bro." And the first time I got up on stage, I felt like this warmth, and I was like, "This is the first time I've ever felt alive." So I was like, "Oh, this is like how you find your purpose. You do something, you're like, this makes me feel alive when I do this." So yeah, after that you can't do anything else.
That's powerful because,
Uh,
I love to say if you put yourself in situations you don't feel comfortable in, that's how you truly grow.
mhm. Yeah.
And I mean, it's really impactful how like one moment can just shift your whole life and your whole journey moving forward. And with your 100, you call it IMDb credits, correct?
Yeah. Hmm.
What role challenged you the most and why?
I mean, that's a great question. You know what it was? I'll tell you what it was. So I do a lot of other characters that play other languages. And so my first time doing that was for MacGyver. I was playing an Armenian guy and I had like 5 lines in Armenian and a bunch of lines like not, in English with an accent. And so basically I was like, oh, I mean, there's no way they're going to film this. There's a bunch of action. They're like, we're going to film this all at once. And we're just going to move the cameras real quick. And I was like, oh my God, no. So, you have this whole long scene and then they turn the cameras around. It goes right into the Armenian. And I should have been like, look, I need a second to go over these lines. I can't just go right into it. That's not going to work for me. Like, I wasn't pretending like, I was just like, look, I have Armenian ancestry. I can do this, but like, I need a second. But it was a nightmare, dude. It was a nightmare. I forgot the lines like half the time and I said something else. No one speaks Armenian, so they don't know, but I knew. It was very challenging. But then after that, you're like, oh, this is a joke compared to that.
So did you just play it off and just act like just a normal like line was just being said? I mean, how many languages do you know? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, you know what it is? I speak English and I speak Spanish and I speak Portuguese fluently. And then after that, it's like it's easier to pick up languages after that. Like it took 6 months of French in college. So like if I had to do a French role, that'd be like super easy. I would have to work on the pronunciation. But you know the basic structure of how languages work. You say I and then a verb and then a noun. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah, yeah.
Let me put
Can
my
you
phone on
unpack that
do
for
not
us? The
disturb.
being an actor
So,
that has so
it's
many
like it's
different
not like
roles.
language is not that complicated. It's just a tool of expressing something. So like I already know how to do the acting, so it's just like cool, well let's just fill in the word. It's like learning Shakespeare. Nobody knows what Shakespeare means. You know what I'm saying? You learn, you're like, "Oh, this means this," and then you start to understand it. It's the exact same way, you know?
Yeah, how does that shift your approach on your characters you become?
It actually makes it easier because let's say I'm playing a Russian person, right? You start to think about where I would have grown. For example, I went to go play a Russian person for Bull. And then because the conflict in Russia and Ukraine started, they were like, "Oh, can he do Polish instead?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess, right?" So I studied all about Poland and I studied about like who I would have been and what my backstory would have been. And you're thinking in another language and you're thinking about different foods. And I think I picked this one place, Gdansk, which is right by the water, which would make sense that I would end up traveling because normally people in coastal towns, they end up traveling because the water's right there. So they meet lots of people from all over. It's just easier because it's like, you know what's hardest is playing yourself, playing me, because I'm like, yeah, but is this me or is this the character? Like, what's happening right now? I always like to make it different so it feels like I'm actually doing the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, can you unpack that a little bit more? Do you
Um,
become the character emotionally and physically before you hop into that role?
yeah, that's a really good question. Uh, Look, it's kind of like you have all these different sides of you inside of you. And so you kind of lean into one. But yeah, Sanford Meisner used to say, making a character, building a character is like building a chair. But instead of using like wicker, you use parts of yourself. And I think that's the best way to say it because you're like, for example, like I'm shy with women. So if I'm playing a character, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if this guy's really good with women? You know what I mean? So then I explore that, stuff like that.
No, that's really cool how you can put yourself in situations and you can just
Yeah.
change your whole character and change your whole basically your whole
hmm
mindset in just a second if you wanted to. I mean, how many different characters have you played over your time?
I mean, 100, you know what I'm saying? They're never the same. Even if they're the same, they're not the same. You know what I mean? They're different. Like I just played a strip club owner for SWAT in LA. And it was fun because you're like, there's a line in the show where he says, "Oh, when you're an LA local." So you're like, okay, cool. That informs me, like, oh, this is a guy who probably still has a little bit of an accent, but he really wants to be like, oh, yeah, I'm American and this. And I played it like in my audition, I played it like I got along with the cops, like, hey, cops, police, America, this and that. They ended up directing it differently, but like, you look for all these little context clues to like, what can make this fun and interesting? And you read the script and you think about it and you think about the reality of doing is what they say. The reality of what would it be like to be this person, you know?
Now, what's the
Like,
best character you ever played and what was the worst character you ever had to perform as?
well, one of my favorite characters I've ever played is there's a guy, it's called The Minute You Wake Up Dead. It's with Morgan Freeman. It's a character called Jody, and the dialogue is just incredible. And it was so fun to do. And when I got to set, when it was over, like, we filmed like a day and then we had a couple of days off, and I filmed 2 days, and then we had like a week off and we filmed like another day. So I had all this time to think about it and become him and then go home and think about it. And I stopped like at a little gas station and I like found this little knife that he would totally carry, because he made like a lot of, I made choices that he was like trying to be a better person. So I would weave in some biblical quotes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And so then I stopped at this 7-Eleven and I got this little, I think it's a coffin, but it had a cross on it. And it was just like stuff like that that was really fun to like develop. And again, I would just throw in like these biblical quotes, and the director was like super cool. He's like, say whatever you want. I love how you're playing this. So it was crazy, man. It was like so much freedom, you know? It's called The Minute You Wake Up Dead. It's highly recommend the movie. It's really cool. I have a huge part. It's probably one of my bigger parts. And then I'll tell you the worst character I ever played was, oh man. So I auditioned for this character. I don't want to give away too much because the movie hasn't come out yet, but it's called Operation Antes. And so I auditioned for this character who slipped something in this woman's drink, right? The character was called Y2K and or Y2Hey, or some, I don't know, it was a weird ass name. And but basically you think she's passed out and you go to get in the back seat and she's awake. I go, what the fuck? And she like starts kicking me and hit me. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with that, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But so they go, oh, do you want this role? I'm thinking it's the same thing. A week later, I look at it, it's this guy called Larry or something. And it's like a way more intense scene. And I basically have to like sexually assault this woman. And I was just like, oh God, I don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah.
Because it's not like we're pretending. That's not what we do as actors. We really play the truth of the role. And again, I can't tell you, let me just put it this way. If I had to do it again, I would play it like, oh, this guy thinks when you're on a date and you're young and you're both getting drunk because you know what's about to happen and you're both nervous, or you're like, let's get drunk so we're not so that's how I viewed it, as like, oh, this guy just feels like, oh, I'm just taking a shortcut. I'm putting something in this woman's drink. There's really no difference between that in this character's mind. There's really no difference between that and taking a woman out and buying her dinner and getting her drunk. It's just kind of a shortcut, right? So I'm going to play it like I really like this woman. Oh, baby, don't worry, don't worry. I should have said that. I should have spoken up.
No,
But man,
that's so real.
dude, and so me and the woman she's a trans woman, and before we did the scene, we both sat down and we were both like, man, I don't want to do this at all. I go, me neither. She's like, the only reason I'm doing it is because I think it's an important story to tell. I go, yeah, me too. I was like, I almost backed out of this when I saw what it was. I almost backed out of this. And so we got there and it was so uncomfortable. And we got to a certain point and the director was like, will you do this? I go, no, I'll do this, this, and this. It was so uncomfortable. I was like, I'll never do that again. And so, cut to about a year later, I got an opportunity to audition for a character that basically we physically assault and sexually assault a woman in a prison. And I go, no, thank you. I'm never doing that again. It's not pretend. What we do is not pretend. It's not like, oh, yeah, I'm going to beat you up. That's not what we do. We find the truth in these people in these scenes. And I don't want to think like that. And I don't want to play that out because I respect women so much. And I think that's one of the worst things that you can do is hurt a child or hurt a woman. And I don't want to do it anymore, bro. I'm good. It's not worth it.
Yeah, there's so much more to it than what people see on the surface.
Yeah. People think we're pretending. We're not pretending.
Now, Tony, with all your years of experience in just acting, what has been your favorite line in all your acting career?
That's a great question. My favorite line. Okay. I was auditioning for this movie. It was all these characters. It was almost like Wes Anderson-esque or like Tarantino-esque, where they all end up sort of stuck in the cafe. And the detective's like, what about you? What about you? What about you? Almost like a Murder on the Orient Express. It was almost that way in a little bit. When he's like, no one's leaving this restaurant until we figure out who did it. One of those. So cut to, it turns out it's like I don't know, the waiter or the chef or something like that. And the woman, the lead, she runs away and she sticks a little pan in her shirt. And so when the guy goes to shoot her, he comes up and she pretends to be dead, but she has the cast iron pot in her shirt and she pulls it out and she hits the chef in the head and she goes, order up. It wasn't my line, but I told the director because I read the script before the callback, and I was like, "That is the best line I've ever read, dude. Order up." It's so perfect. It's so campy, but it's like movies are allowed to just be fun sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We're allowed to like have fun. Life is short. All of this shit is fucking bullshit. Nothing means anything. The only meaning anything has is the meaning that we give it. So we need to just enjoy life sometimes. I woke up today filled with anxiety because the work has been really slow. And I was like, dude, I got to go to jujitsu. I got to get over this, whatever's happening right now. So I went to jujitsu, and normally I just drill because it's scary to roll. I go to nogi now. That means we train with no kimono on, a little Japanese suit. And I was like, man, I'm going to roll today because I got to get out of this mood because I don't want to be like full of anxiety. It's really scary, man. This is a really hard business. It's the hardest business besides maybe like being a soldier or a mom. You know what I mean? Or some like doctors across borders, you know what I mean? Something like that really bad, or something where you're like, it's really scary, man. It's like you could literally like Jonathan Majors, he was in the movie Star Wars. He ended up doing one of my friend's narrative podcasts. It was like a story. And he said, yeah, I got to do because he hasn't worked in 3 years. So you think like, oh man, I just did Star Wars. I made it now. Wait till the offers come in. He didn't work for 3 years, bro.
That's a
Think about
very
how scary that is, dude.
I give you props for everything you're doing. You continue to chase your dreams because your dreams will not chase you. And we were saying in the
Yeah.
beginning of the podcast before we hopped on, like you only get so many summers in a lifetime. So I mean, go live them
Bro.
up.
Yeah, I think two things are important in life. One, be nice to people. Be kind to people. The lower the status, quote unquote, there's no status. But the lower status job someone has, the nicer you should be to them. Because you're like, would you go do that job right now? If the answer is no, then you should be really nice to these people. Do you know what I'm saying? And then number two, we all have to figure out how to enjoy our days, how to enjoy our life. Because I'm going to be in the dirt in about 50 years, bro. In the dirt. And no one's going to remember any movie I did, and no one's going to talk about me after a week, maybe two if I make some huge donation, or, you know what I'm saying? People don't talk about Prince anymore, man. They're not talking about me, bro. You know what I mean? So I think it's important to just be like, hey, dude, this is my day. It's wide open. There's no auditions today. You know what I'm saying? Like we just got to figure out how to have a good day.
Yeah, your honesty is incredible. I really thank you for sharing all your
Thanks,
stories
man.
and experiences.
Yeah.
And I mean, what's one thing about acting that most people outside of acting often misunderstand?
Okay. The hardest part about acting is not the rejection because we all understand that it's not rejection. It's not rejection. If you and I audition for the same role, we both put ourselves into it. It's not competition. There's no way that I would ever book a role that was meant for you. We're two totally different people. It's just like fighting over a woman. I'd be like, look, if you like him, you like him. If you like, he's nothing like me. If you like me, you like me. It's not competition. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, I was going to date Tony, but I dated him. No, it's not that. The hard part is when there's no, the hard part is when there's no auditions. That's the hardest part about our business. It's not rejection. None of us care. After like 2 years, you're like, oh, it's not about me. It's just you can have an amazing audition and not get cast. It's not about that. It's when there's no work. You know what I'm saying?
Now, when slow is work with acting, I mean, how do you sharpen the craft of acting when there's no work?
Mm, that's a great question. I mean, I'm an artist. That's how my brain works. I think about human behavior all the time. I think about life all the time. I think about my emotions. I just think about things in a very artistic way. I'm like a philosopher. I'm always thinking about what does this mean? What does that mean? What is this person thinking? I'm always thinking about that. I wonder what was on this person's mind. You can't turn it off. So that you can take classes. We're gonna have a night of one act plays in July. In the meantime, as soon as I get my taxes done, I'm gonna start writing like little 1 minute scenes. Um, the other thing I do is I submit worldwide to projects just for the audition. I auditioned for a student film out of NYU the other day just because I was like, oh, I like this character. This is going to be a fun scene to do. And I learned a lot in the audition. Yesterday, I auditioned for a guitar player. It was one line. And I wanted to do it live with the casting director. They were offering live auditions. And I was like, let me do it live because it'll be more exciting and I'll learn more about myself. And so then I did one take, and the casting director was like, "Yeah, I love it." He's like, "Look, I hate to do it twice, but I feel like we shouldn't not do it a second time. What do you want to do?" I go, "Well, what if we do this?" And I did it a second way, and in the middle of the audition, I got nervous because we were doing it a different way, and I was like, "Yeah, but wouldn't this character be nervous because I'm trying to save this person? So we would be in front of a crowd of people, and I'd be like, 'Bro, like everybody's watching us. Of course she would be nervous.'" So like I'm always learning, I'm always thinking, I'm always practicing. When I don't get auditions, I submit to a student film that shoots in like Ohio. I do not care because it's not about whether or not I'm going to do it. It's I need to practice acting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, with Tony, with all your years of experience in
Oh,
acting, what advice would you give to an actors who feel stuck?
oh, that's a great question. Read plays, read scripts, watch good movies, watch good TV shows, watch funny shows. Um, Go take an improv class. Always be in classes. Be in classes until you're teacher level. Until you're teaching classes, be in classes. Um, it reminds me, there's a class. I study Meisner, which is like a repetition game to keep you in the moment. There's a class at Rob Mello's studio here in Atlanta on Saturday for his alumni. I'm going to ask if I can come and work in with them. Write, read books, activate your imagination. Um, Watch a movie with a friend, talk about it. Watch a show with a friend, talk about like, oh, this was really good. Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day about one of my favorite shows, and he was like, "Oh, the sound design, the sound design. That's something I never would have thought. I never think about it." And then the rest of the project, the rest of the episodes, I was like, "Guys, you're right. The sound design is really." I would never even have mentioned that, but just the fact that I was like, "Hey, do you want to watch a show?" He's like, "Yeah, do you want to watch a show?" He's like, "The sound design, the sound." So that triggered me to think about sound. I think about music, that how it's used sometimes because I was a big fan of This Is Us and they pull at the heartstrings on that one. But I never thought about sound design until he mentioned it, just something where you're always thinking about your craft, not in a way of I should be doing this, in a way of like when I watched season 3 of White Lotus, I was like, oh yeah, this is why I started acting because this fucking shit is brilliant. The acting is brilliant. The setting is beautiful. The characters, the characters who were like supporting actors are like, she's fucking amazing. If you haven't seen season 3 of White Lotus, there's this Australian character who plays like like an assistant around the she's in charge of electronics and stuff and she's just like a helper lady. She's fucking so good. And you're like, God, she's just being herself. It's so dynamic and so interesting. You know what I mean? And watch stuff that inspires you, you know? Great, listen to great podcasts where directors talk about acting, where actors talk about acting, where writers talk about acting. Do stuff that inspires you. Exercise. Man, you got to exercise, bro. Actors by nature, we overthink. That's literally what we get paid. I bought my house by developing characters and their backstories. So when you don't have enough to do, your mind starts creating stories. So you got to go exercise.
That's so encouraging. It
Mm,
reminds people to stay open and keep showing up even when it gets hard.
it is hard, man. It's hard. Remember why you wanted to do this in the first place. You know, as Jason Lockhart says, he's an agent, a great agent here in Atlanta. He said you got to figure out your why. And so my why is I like acting. I got to do this commercial audition last night, spoiler alert, and it's sort of a reimagining of, I can't say, but a really cool scene from a movie. And I was like, well, I would audition for this movie if they remade it. So why not audition? So basically, my audition for that commercial was as if they were like, audition for this movie or even get to do the movie. That was my moment where I got to play that character. And every actor who's seen this scene has thought about how would I do that role. So I'm like, this is how I would do it. And it was so fun and fucking weird and crazy and interesting and challenging. And you got to remember why. I love to act. I love to connect with another person and be like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I love that moment of stillness and connection. I love it. That's why I do this shit. So that means I can go audition for a student film and still get to experience it. I can write my own work, which I'm so lazy to do. I don't want to, but I'm like, I guess there's no other choice right now. You know what I'm saying?
Now, as an actor, do you have a top three actors that you want to perform with?
Mm. I mean, I'd love to work with Denzel, as he says his name. I'd love to work with De Niro. And damn, I mean, I saw this movie the other day. Angela Davis is amazing. I saw her in a movie the other day. I'm like, she's like so vile. Anybody with a lot of heart who just connects. And I'm just gonna say this, the women that I've gotten to act with are better than the men because they're more open. I got to work with she plays Lady somebody um from
Game of
that
Thrones?
English. No, the one before that. It was about the royalty. Michelle Dockery. She's so good. And the minute you wake up dead, the woman I got to do the scene with, Jamie Alexander, she plays Thor's girlfriend. She also has a show on like NBC or CBS or something in New York. I looked at her, I was like, God, it's so good to act with a good actor. She's so good. It's so fun when they're open. I heard Denzel's like that too. He's just looking at you, you're like, is this real? Or are we like, Josh Brolin, I would love to work with. Dak Shepard is one of my heroes, and I always hit him up on Instagram. I was like, I will work for you for scale. Just tell me where to be, just because I love his energy and his personality and his heart. I think he's like a, artists, we change the world. Lots of people do. But one thing that Dak Shepard does is really nice is he reminds people that vulnerability is the thing that we're all after. That's the thing that we think is beautiful. It's not my six pack abs. You know what I'm saying? The only people who respond when I post a shirtless pic on Instagram are my male gay friends. But what people which I love, I'll take the compliment. You know what I'm saying? But when the videos really connect with people, when I go in there like, hey, dude, it's okay not to be your best every day. It's okay to take a day off sometimes. It's okay to say, I'm proud of you for just getting out of bed today. That to me is like the beauty in the world. We have to remind each other that, like, this is hard. Life is hard sometimes. And it's okay to be like, hey, God, I need some help today because I'm kind of freaking out.
Now, Tony, can
You know what
you
I'm saying?
unpack that for me? What makes a extremely good actor from a mediocre? What's the difference between an extremely good actor and a mediocre actor? Can you unpack that?
Yeah, it's vulnerability. How much of yourself can you open up and put in a role? I saw a guy on a show. He's a really great actor. He's been in everything. He was in Maniac on, it was a limited series on Netflix. His name evades me at the moment. He's like a blonde guy. He was just in a great movie with another fucking Pete Skarsgård. It was just like basically a two-hander with them two. And But the moment that I love the most of him in the movie is when his servants came to quit and they came to basically like, and he just had this look of like, you guys betrayed me. And it was so vulnerable and so open and honest. I was like, holy shit. I didn't know he could do that. It was so real. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I even told him, I was like, I mean, I personally have never seen you do this. I'm not saying you haven't, but that moment, I was just like, oh my God. It's the vulnerability. And that's why Meisner is important because it teaches you to be open and be truthful, and just be like, yeah, this shit is hard. I could easily come on here and be like, I work with this person, and I work with that person, and I'm at Topher Grace. No one gives a fuck about that shit. People care when I say, hey, I woke up with a lot of anxiety today. So I went to go exercise and now I feel way better. And now life feels like, oh, what a fun day. I get to do whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to like, what should I do today? I'm freaking out. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Tony, what role does a director have in a actor's career?
Okay, great. So a director can make or break an actor. I think the best thing a director can do is know how to use a certain actor. I think it's an element of the best directors. I worked with a guy named Michael Denner, I think is his name. He created the Wonder Years. He also did the Manhunt series. Um, he looked at what I was doing and he said, "You know that thing you're doing? This moment right here where you lose it." He's like, if you lose it there, feel free to not come back." And I was like, oh, what a fucking good note. He's basically saying, like, that thing you're doing, let's keep going in that direction. Because here's the thing, you can't make somebody be what they're not. They are what they are. If you don't like their performance, you shouldn't have hired them. So all you can do is encourage them to be more of themselves. I also got a great note on SWAT. The director came up and I was like, yeah, I'm friends with these cops. Hey, these cops were here. Yes, because oh man, this night was crazy, man. It was like so crazy. But this happened and this I'm sharing with my cop. Let me stay. Why you guys leave? Because if the cops stay, shit doesn't go down at my strip club, and strip clubs can be dangerous places. I want the cops around. But he's like, no, you don't want to talk to him at all. I go, oh, okay. And I just started avoiding him and ignoring him. He's like, yeah, perfect. So I also don't mind that. Specific notes where I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. You want me? Oh, okay. This guy hates the cops. Fuck the cops. Get out of here. So I'm just like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you have your
Simple.
own image for the character, but then the director has his own image also, and you had to kind of mold into one, correct?
Exactly. And the director's thinking about the overall story arc. So I'm just thinking about my life, my moment, my day. But he's like, yeah, but I need it to be more like this because I need the cops to be suspicious because of that. And this needs, I don't have to think, thankfully, I don't have to think about any of that. So it's kind of nice when a director comes up and gives me a note and then I do it and he's like, perfect. I'm like, good, because I know it's good now. I can walk away, be like, I showed up and I gave the director exactly what they wanted on a network show, which was the exact opposite of what I did in my audition. So that to me says like, hey, I'm a good actor. I can literally show up and then do the opposite of why I booked this role, you know?
Now, what are some of the dream directors that you would love to act for?
Man, I'd love to work with Tarantino just because I feel like he gives, and honestly, whoever directed uh uh Succession, I like the script to be sort of a loose. I like the script. And when I say improv, I don't mean like let's go fucking crazy. I mean like let's make the work better. I like to be 80% on book, but then 20%, let's throw this line in because it makes it better. So Wes Anderson, would be cool to be in a Wes Anderson movie, but I don't know that I would love working with him. Whoever's directing the show studio would be fun. I think it's Evan Goldberg. Um, I'd love to work with Tarantino. I feel like his sensibility, he doesn't let phones on set. And I'm like, that's exactly how I am. Let's be here now. I'd love to work with Scorsese. I just auditioned for a Scorsese project. I literally can't believe I didn't book the role. I literally had visions of Scorsese being like, "Yeah, I mean, it's him, it's Tony DeMille. I mean, he's a guy for the role. I mean, it's Tony." Like I visualized it. I cannot believe I didn't fucking book that role. But say la vie, man.
I'll tell you this much. I know The Wolf of Wall Street. That was a great
Mm.
movie. Whoever directed that did a great job. And like you're saying, the director, whoever had it, they just let them freeball a lot of the scenes.
Yeah, and it's like, look, I'm not saying go insane, but write the script in such a way where the actor gets to come in and infuse themselves in the role. I don't know how off book or on book they were for White Lotus season 3, but that's some of the fucking realest acting I've ever seen. It felt like an independent film, but it was on track enough to be like, yeah, I mean, this has a clear direction, but it's loose enough to where you're like, yeah, I feel like this is an indie film, and they're saying it was so good, bro. And so that's the kind of actor that I am. I want to be 80% on book. I want to say almost exactly, I want to perform your scene that's incredibly well written, but I don't want to do it word for word, you know?
Yeah, Tony, can you unpack that a little bit? What is an independent film, and is there any? What are the different types of films are out there?
Yeah, so the reason I say independent film, so like the most on book would probably be a show like West Wing, like Aaron Sorkin, and or I heard that on the show Amazing Miss Marvel, Maisel, they were like, no, 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 you said of, it's the like that strict. On network shows, they're usually really strict. Like when I did Bull, she came up and she said, "You said and here. Can you say the?" It's not a big deal, but if you can, I go, you know what? As a personal challenge, I'm gonna, and I think I did it. So I was proud of myself because your pistons are firing when you're on set. It is like adrenaline dump, dude. So I was proud of myself because you can act and be in the moment, be like, oh yeah, in this moment I have to do this, and it's like there's a lot happening at once. But when you're in the zone, you can hit it. And then an independent film, the director's like, yeah, say whatever you want. This is a scene. You say what you want. We just want it to feel real and truthful. That's the most important thing. I want to walk away and people be like, was that a real scene or were they acting? I don't know. That's like the genre of independent film. Mostly, obviously, that's a generalization. Like an indie drama where it's just me and you and we're boys and we're like, hey man, like you're fucking late on the rent, bro. And like, I don't mean to be a piece of shit, but like, I need that fucking money. I know you think I'm rich because I own this house. I'm not rich, bro. The mortgage comes every month, bro. I don't own this house. It's not free. Do you know what I'm saying? And they just want it to feel real. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, being an actor and being able to work freely seems really important. And I really want
To
to ask
me.
you, yeah, what is something acting has taught you about life that no other experience could?
I think the most important thing I've learned from acting is learning to not only not judge, no, I judge people. I guess learning that everybody has like a story, and like I think the more like miserable someone's life is, the more interesting, unique, and dynamic. Like I'd love to like just go hang out with a homeless person and just be like, bro, just tell how did you get here? I should fucking film that, man. I should really. I've been talking about that for a long time. I should get my camera and just be like, yo, man, here's $10. Will you just tell me your story? That's very interesting to me. I should do that. I can't believe that's humanity is interesting to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's deep.
Mm.
Do you do any mirror work for acting to help you?
What's that mean?
So I've heard of people looking in the mirror and like talking and trying to visualize what they're going to be doing for the role and uh, how their facial structures are going to be moving around as they're in the mirror. No.
Yeah, I mean, look, it depends on the role. If you're like Jim Carrey playing the guy the Grinch, you have to be like, this is how this looks, the Grinch. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I think for me, the only time I use a mirror is when I need to find the truth of a character because mirrors don't lie. So when you look in the mirror, let's say you have a line that says the rain in Spain falls mainly in the plain, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say the line until it doesn't feel like you're acting anymore, right? So you have to look in the mirror and say, the rain in Spain mainly falls in the plain. The rain in Spain falls mainly in the plains. The rain in Spain mainly falls in the plains. The rain in Spain mainly falls, and just do it until it doesn't feel like you're acting anymore. One of my friends, who's a good friend, we were on Outer Banks together. He said he never really thought about acting, and he met this guy, and the guy invited him to his house and was like, I'm going to teach you how to act. And he had him read a Shakespearean sonnet over for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And every time my friend was acting, he said, start over. And that's basically how he learned how to act. He's like, oh, it has to feel truthful from the inside out. And this guy's a fucking beast, and he's just like so fucking powerful because our truth is powerful. You know what I'm saying? The truth inside of us. That's why people fear artists. That's why they're always talking shit about Hollywood weirdos and elites. Because we look at the government and we look at these fucking pieces of shit, whoever they are. I'm not talking about Republicans or Democrats. I'm talking about certain people, and you're like, you're self centered and you're lying to all of us right now so you can get rich. And this person's not doing that. There's this, just so we all know, to not be divisive, there's a Republican who I follow on Instagram. I literally just saw his post. I'm like, he's telling the truth. When he comes on Instagram, he talks, he's telling the truth. We want more of that. And artists are truth tellers and truth detectors. So that's why they always try to discredit us. Of
No,
course.
I love that way. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to look at it because an actor really has to speak with the truth behind it
Mm-hmm.
whenever he's saying a line.
Yeah. Or she.
Or she, my bad.
Yeah, you're good.
Um, I really do appreciate you sharing all your knowledge and experiences. Is there any like, I mean, how do you personally define success?
Man, that's a great question. Every single actor just wants to be on set and just wants to be working. The money is great. It's not about the money. We just want enough money so we don't have to go work as a waiter on the weekends. We don't care about money, man. We just want to work. We want to be on set doing the thing that we love. If I could get a card and that card gave me about 80 to 100,000 a year, and I just got to act all the time, and I just had this cards, and I never made more and I never made less with inflation. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't care about money at all, bro. I love it when I have enough to where I can just buy whatever I need and whatever I want. Actors don't care about money, man. We just want to be on set working, doing the thing we love to do. Most people, it's so funny because these billionaires are trying to hoard all this money as if most of us do not care about being billionaires. We want to have enough money in the bank so when our kid needs to go get a, a dental procedure, we can afford it. People don't care about money like these people. These people are sociopaths. They literally
No,
have $800 billion and they're like, you know what would make me happy? 900 billion. People are starving. I don't give a fuck. It's literally a sickness, bro. And again, I'll say this again. I love money. I love working hard. I love success. I love money being the result of working hard. I love it. But there's a certain point where you're like, you're taking advantage of the world and people are dying right now and you don't care. So you can go from billion to trillion. That matters to you. That is fucking sick. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying, dude?
that's such a good point. Uh, what's a moment from your career that you never forgotten and why?
Man, I'll tell you a moment. I worked with this guy from Game of Thrones on the show Manhunt, and After I did my scene, he was like, "Oh man, that was really good." I go, "Oh, thank you very much, bro." He goes, "No, you fucking crushed it, bro." And I'll never forget that. Let me tell you something. Whenever you're a little bit more elevated in your career and you can reach your hand down and give someone a compliment and encourage them, do that. Whenever I'm on set, man, I try to reach out to the background performers, make them feel seen. If a scene partner is doing a scene, I will watch a guy do a scene the other day, and I didn't have any lines. I was there for like a long time. He was there for 2 days. He had a bunch of lines. I go, "Hey man, you're fucking killing it right now, bro. You're fucking killing it. It's great." You know what I'm saying? That's like a powerful, beautiful tool that we all have. We can do it every day. Encourage people. This life is hard and it's literally set up for us to fail and be enslaved. You know what I'm saying, dude? So
Yeah.
anytime you can encourage another person, especially who's doing something outside the box, like their own podcast, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the kind of story people remember. I appreciate you sharing that. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that's some real raw moments that, will
Yeah.
stick with you.
Yeah.
And if you could go back and give your younger self some advice, what would it be?
Don't quit.
Did you quit?
No, but you feel like you want to sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. I do right now. I thought about it yesterday. This shit is hard, bro.
I believe
It's
it. I
not
believe
like
you.
it's not like, oh wow, I can't get into medical school, but medical school exists. The movies I'm gonna be in don't exist right now, bro. They're a figment of someone's imagination. That shit is fucking scary, dude.
Yeah, and what's your take on AI and that whole industry taking over the Hollywood?
Let me put it this way. Yeah, let me put it this way. When I was young, I was in band when I was in high school in like 1992. And we were like, oh no, synthesizer, synthesizer. Well, guess what? There was a rapper in the studio who about a year ago, he had a horn section come in and play on his album because synthetic will never sound as truthful as the real thing. So I don't fear it. AI is a tool. AI is like, damn, I need to write a blurb for my IMDb. Yeah, fuck it, ChatGPT, just write this for me. I don't want to. AI is never going to write a script better than a human being because it doesn't have a heart. It's a tool. It's like saying, what do you think about cars? I'm like, well, they get me faster to my house than if I walked. Is it, would I rather have a car than a human being? No. It's a tool. It's a beautiful, helpful tool.
And that is something you have lots of is heart. I really
Oh,
you throw a
thanks,
lot
man.
into your acting. I've seen a lot of your content, and
Oh,
you do a
thanks.
great job. I
Thanks.
know the scenes you're talking about, which is really cool. You do a great job in all your scenes, and
Thanks.
um, the for living a good life. What does living a good life mean to you at this stage in your journey?
Man, having enough money, being surrounded by people that I care about, and getting to do the thing that I love to do,
I
you
love
know?
that. I love that. And this is the part of the show I want to bring in. This is the Friday mindset part of the show. I want to
Hmm.
dig into your journey, your mindset, and the moments that shaped you. What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Don't quit. Just keep showing up, you know, go do the audition. I can't tell you how many times I get an audition. Shoot, even this guitar player audition, I was like, I don't want to do this stupid one line audition. But I was like, ooh, what about if we did it live? And I got to work with the casting director and I put some pressure on myself and it was like kind of exciting. Now there's pressure on it. And I had to learn, and I made myself learn the song that this person would be playing in the scene on guitar. So I was like, I don't know if I can do it. Anytime there's a moment of, I don't know if I can do this, that's going to make something exciting for me. You know what I'm saying? So I say, don't give up. Just keep showing up. It's easy to be like, nah, I don't want to do this thing because basically it's hard. Just go do it. Don't give up. Don't quit. Keep showing up. Don't
Yeah,
give up.
well, don't give up. And like you were saying before, I mean, those opportunities can shape you into who you are. Those tough situations, one door
Yeah.
closes, another one will open, and
Yeah.
it's that's how life is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And you
now,
got to trust, there's a great quote that says, when you don't have faith, the universe has faith for you. Meaning, like, if you wake up Monday, you feel great, I'm gonna murder it. And by Thursday, you just said, God, I don't know if this is gonna happen or not. God's like, hey, dude, I got you today. Man, it's been really hard these last 4 years, dude. But it's a trial of if you want to do the thing. Everybody who's ever done anything has had this moment of like, I don't know if this shit is gonna work or not, bro. Who's ever done anything,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sure some of you are like, is anybody even listening to this shit? You know what I mean? But
Oh,
like,
I know what you
okay,
mean.
well,
You keep pushing forward though. That's
yeah,
the beauty of it.
exactly.
And I like to say it's about the journey, not the destination, but the personal development throughout the journey. That's what
Yeah,
makes you who you are. And
yeah,
it's the self development throughout the
yeah.
whole journey. That's the specialty of it. I mean, you from all your acting careers and all the roles you've played, I mean, that's molded you and changed who you
Mm-hmm.
are today. And it's
Mm-hmm.
something magical at the end of the day. I mean, all the failures, all the setbacks, everything that you've achieved too. All the people saying stuff about you and the stuff you've done. I mean, you're just thinking about the roles that
Yeah.
you've done and the future roles you're going to accomplish, the future goals. What's one truth about life that you wish more people understood?
People matter more than money. You can have $1 billion and you can be sitting in a castle all by yourself, and it's incredibly lonely. So I think the other truth is, I think you just touched on it. It's not about the destination, it's about the person you become, the life, the richness of the life that's developed by pursuing your dreams. For example, you, right? We never would have talked if you didn't have a podcast. We never would have gotten to share this moment. So the thing that you love about podcasting is probably like, oh, I like connecting with people and talking to them about real shit, which most of us in life, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. How about you? Good. Got to cut the lawn today. It's gonna rain. But now you get to come here. That's one of the things I like about acting. You get to sit down with a complete stranger and we bare all our souls for one another. And like, what's better than that? Dude, if you saw me in the coffee shop, we'd talk about some bullshit. But because of this, we get to talk about real life, real truth. You're a truth seeker. Do you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you saying that, and like
Yeah.
I do my homework before this on all my guests, and like I ran across you on Mr. Big USA's page,
Oh,
and I saw
yeah.
him interview you. He's been on my podcast, and that's how I
Uh,
got to find you. And I saw your interview with him on the street interviews, and I said I got to get this man on. This is he has some
thanks.
type of energy behind him that I know
Yeah.
my listeners would love.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think the most important thing you can do is learn how to be as truthful as possible all the time. I don't mean you always have to spill your guts, but I mean, like, yesterday I went to a dance on Sunday and I was like, hey, how are you? And this guy was like, man, I've been kind of lonely lately. I go, oh my God, thank you for saying that. Me too. So we both have like a moment of healing because we're both truthful, you know? And even, some of those questions Mr. Big asked me, he's like, oh, well, how many piercings is too many? I'm just like, man, I don't care. People should be themselves, dude. Like, you think I'm walking around being like, oh, that person has too many piercings? What a weird thing to fucking say and think. You know what I'm saying? And 100%, if I'm walking around pointing the finger out, there's three fingers pointing back at me that I'm ignoring. Who cares? Let people do whatever they want. I do not care. You don't have to date them if you don't want to date them, but don't judge them. That's not your job. Our job is to love people and help people, you know?
That's such a good point. Tony, what is something significant from your childhood that shaped you into who you are today?
We were really poor, and my dad left when I was like 7. Um, and then my stepdad was like really abusive. So I'll tell you the three things I learned. A, well, my dad's not here, so we're gonna have to figure this out on our own. B, you learn to be resourceful because we didn't have any money. And then C, my stepdad was always trying to convince me that I was a piece of shit So what it does is develop your, well, I'm not that, and this is what I am. So those are like the three biggest gifts you can get. I'm super independent. I know who the fuck I am. I know my self-worth, and I know how to make this shit happen. I didn't fucking know anybody, bro. We didn't have any fucking money. No one was like, "Oh, you should go do this." And you know what I mean? I help along the way, of course, but like, we had to figure it out on our own. So like when I show up to set and I do my job, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you're talking to, but I know who I am. And my self-worth doesn't come from some fucking idiot director who's treating me like shit right now. I've probably been doing this shit longer than you. You know what I'm saying? So I had that sense of self-worth that I developed on my own. And thanks to my mom too, because she was a really good mom.
Now, how did that make you feel growing up? Uh, did it have any? Can you unpack it a little bit? Where were you living at the time?
We were living in Orlando, like outside of Orlando. And so my mom and dad, when I was four, they bought a house together, and then they he basically split. And so then we have this big house. It was crazy because we were kind of living in a really nice house. Not kind of, it was a nice house. But then we didn't have any money. So money was tight all the time. I remember one time it was like a Monday or Sunday, and my mom came home and she was over the summer. And she was like, "Oh, what happened to the grapes?" And we were like, "Oh, well, we ate them." She's like, "Oh, well, I guess that's the grapes for the week." Like, we didn't have fucking any fucking money, bro. We were super poor, and people treated us like shit because we were like the poor kids. And, but your self-worth because my mom was like, "Hey, dude, like, shit. You think these rich people, they're not better than you. No one's better than you, bro. We're all human beings. We all come from the same place, the creator, the source. Most of these people who are acting like they're better than you, their fucking dad gave them half the shit they have. No one who has a fucking BMW when they're 20 fucking 5 earned that shit on their own. Their fucking dad gave it to them, or they gave them a good start so they could, like, these people, you think they're fucking better than you, bro? We're all the same, dude. And we all end up in the grave and we go to heaven, and God's going to be like, wow, you guys are pieces of shit. You had unlimited resources and you didn't help people. And then you treated those other people like you were better than them because of the circumstances that I put you in. And instead of thanking me and with humility and learning how to share and make things more equal, you hoarded fucking money and you treated these other people like they weren't worthy to share the planet with you. You did the opposite of what you were supposed to do. And we're going to be sitting there in our fucking golden Romans being like, yeah, fuck you guys. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I shouldn't judge them either, but I do.
Now, Tony, when your time comes, it could be today, it could be next year, it could be 30 years from now, or 50 years from now, like you were saying. What kind of legacy are you going to leave?
Um, Man, I hope I just encourage people to be themselves and love themselves and be nice to other people, be kind, share, give people grace, forgive yourself, encourage yourself, tell yourself, "Hey, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for waking up. I'm early for me. I'm proud of myself for going to BJJ this morning. I'm proud of myself for loving myself and not being afraid to be vulnerable. I'm proud of myself for not quitting. I'm proud of myself for a lot of the a lot of things.
I'm proud of you too, Tony. Don't give up
Thanks,
on
bro.
yourself and keep
Thanks,
on
man.
chasing those dreams.
Thanks,
And
thanks.
I love to say, like, become 1% better than you were yesterday. You'll be
100%.
365% better in a year's time.
100%.
And you just keep on stacking those small wins on top of each
Yeah, yeah,
other.
yeah.
And that's how the big win accomplishment comes at the end of the day. You don't get it all at once, really. You have to stack those
No.
small wins, and then you build that solid foundation.
Man, I heard a great interview with Morgan Freeman yesterday. He didn't make it until he was 50. I'm like, okay, good. I still got 2 more years. He said it didn't really start taking off for him until he was 50. I'm like, God, that's really encouraging. I'm sure he had little wins along the way, but like, that's really encouraging because he's had an incredible career.
Now, have you worked with him, Morgan Freeman?
Yeah. We weren't in the same scene. You know how a movie works. They could be there on totally different days. Just like I did a movie with Liam Neeson. We're in the same scene. Like he's in the car that I'm walking up to. But we didn't like film it together. He filmed, I was walking away. I was like, holy shit, who's that tall guy? You know what I mean?
Okay, that makes sense. I know what you mean by that, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks,
And
brother.
I'm proud of you. And the
Thank you,
show is
man.
called Every Day is Friday, and Friday has a
Yeah.
special energy, whether it's freedom, excitement, or just feeling of
Yeah.
accomplishment after a long week. I want to hear from you. What does Friday mean to you?
Oh, I like the weekend, man. I work on weekends because, I'm an actor. So that's when I pick up shifts Fridays and Saturdays. I guess Friday, it's like the start of like, we did it. We did it. And now we get to fucking chill this weekend. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter how the week was, it's like, yeah, but now it's the weekend and we get to enjoy the hard work we've done, right? No training on the weekends, maybe do a little yoga on Sunday, but Friday and Saturday, you're just like, hey, man, we did it, man. I don't have to feel guilty for being lazy, you know?
Yeah, every day is Friday. It's a mindset that anything is possible,
Yeah,
celebration, and new
yeah,
beginnings, like you're saying. That's I love
yeah,
that definition.
yeah.
And Tony, this is your chance to leave the listeners with something powerful. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yes, this is what I would say. Number one, that dream that you have in your heart that was put there for a reason. Number two, don't quit. And number three, some people have this thing where they're like, I'm a piece of shit. I don't ever feel that way. Love yourself. God created you. I'm not better than you. No one's better than you. Matthew's not better. We're all good. The only difference is what you do with your energy. Do you treat people well? If you care about people and you're trying your best, like love yourself, you're doing a good job. This is hard. Life is hard. I think intentionally so, but you don't have to like beat yourself up. Like love yourself, be proud of yourself for the little accomplishments.
No, it's a great takeaway, and completely just fall in love with who you are and who you're going to be,
Eggs.
who you're
Yeah,
creating.
exactly. It's like if you're trying to sell a product and be like, it's kind of like a shitty bicycle, but you should definitely buy it. Nobody's gonna want to buy it. Even if it's a shitty bicycle, be like, this is my shitty bicycle. And I love this thing. Look, if you're a woman and you don't like my face, go find someone else. I love myself. I'm fucking handsome. I have a hot body. I'm cool as fuck. I own my own house and I have a fucking brand new car paid for. I did it. If you don't like this, go fucking find someone else, dude. I love myself.
That's the mentality more people need to hear. And
Yeah.
all your information will be in the description down below. But I want to make sure that people know where to find you. Where can the people support and follow your work?
Yeah, dude, best way is Instagram at Tony D Mafia.
And I hope that'll be in the description down below. And thank you for sharing your stories and experiences. Yeah, I really
Yeah.
appreciate you diving into all of it. I mean, it was a great conversation. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. And to the listeners, stay tuned for more amazing stories on Every Day is Friday Podcast 365. If you enjoyed this, make sure to follow, share, and keep that Every Day is Friday mindset going. Till next time, stay inspired and make every day feel like Friday. Till next time.